أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Ya Ikhwan, my brothers and sisters, there's sisters here also? Or is it just guys? Okay, alhamdulillah, that's good. So now I can say only brothers, right? Good, alhamdulillah. So, the topic of tonight is what I am here to talk to you about. It's a very important topic. It may look like very simple, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we can simply say, khalas, it's over. And I want to share with you something that, we can simplify a topic like that and end it right now and leave, or we can be fair with it and try to explain it a little bit. Because honestly, it's not just a simple topic, just so you know, it's not a simple topic. So it has, because we live in America, we live among non-Muslims, we deal with lots of issues, lots of things that maybe in the time of Rasulullah they did not deal with, or they dealt with in a very, very, very minor situation. But we have those situations in a magnified way, alright? So please bear with me. Inshallah, I will talk only about 10 to 15 minutes. How much time do I have? 20 minutes, alhamdulillah. So I'll talk, let's say about 10 minutes, short محاضرة, and then I'll give you time, 10 minutes, where you can ask questions. Because this is a topic where people have so many things in their mind and sometimes they're shy to ask. Alright? So please bear with me, inshallah, so you will also have a chance to interact with me. Alright? But don't think that it's a simple topic. Alright? So, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, what he did with the kuffar, with the non-Muslims in general, and what he did not do, this is what I'm going to go over. What you can do and what you shouldn't do. So let's talk about first what we should do. What we could do, what we should do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us in the Quran and in Torah also, the same thing, that after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after we worship Him, we believe in Him, we owe service to people, we owe rights to people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And after that, وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْجَارِ الْجُنُوبِ وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنبِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Now here, this is an ayah actually that defines human relations. So if somebody's parents are non-Muslims, or his neighbor is a non-Muslim, or there's a yatim who's a non-Muslim, there's a miskin who's a non-Muslim, or jar al-junub, sahib bil-jam, people traveling with you, sitting next to you, if they're non-Muslims, remember, after Allah, you owe them rights. This is the Quran, Allah is telling you this. In fact, about neighbor, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said in a Sahih Hadith that is quoted in our Sunan books, in the Kutub al-Sitta, many places it has come, that he said Jibreel came and he told me so many things about the neighbor, Jar, that I thought he might become an inheritor, someone who shares property. Let's say, your father died, and he has a wealth, right? It goes to sons and daughters and moms, mom, right? Or in America, you have only one mom, right? If back home you can have more than one mom, right? Step mom, half brother, half sister. It's okay, inshallah. So he said, I was afraid that neighbor will have a share in that inheritance, in your viratha. Allahu Akbar. This is big. So neighbor's rights. There could be a yatim and miskin. You could give him sadaqah, you could help him. Because you live in this country. If you did not know who's your neighbor next door, he doesn't know you. Wallahi, this is a big problem. Because we don't know our neighbors, non-Muslim neighbors, and they know more than us. Then we are behind. Where is our deen? How will you give them nasiha? How will you tell them your deen if you did not know who is your neighbor? Sahih? Think about it. Now, I'll give you one example, practical example, so that you know what I'm talking about. In the light of this ayah, there is a man among the Salaf in the Taba Tabi'in time that ulama of Islam say about him that if this man lived in the time of Sahaba, everybody knows, all the Shabab know who is Sahaba, right? Radiallahu anhum ajma'in. The companions of Prophet, household members and outside household, they're all companions. If this man lived in that time, he would be among the kibar, among the big Sahaba, like Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, radiallahu anhum ajma'in, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, like them. So he's not a usual guy. So I'm going to tell you something about him, his amal. Because I'm first talking about do's, what you should do. What we could do, I could do, you could do, with not dealing with non-Muslims. In general. His name is Abdullah ibn Mubarak. How many of you have heard his name before? Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Have you heard his name before? So let me tell you this guy. This guy had divided his whole year in sections. He used to spend a few months of his time in Muslim borders. You know, Muslim borders, boundaries, countries, defending the borders, jihad and all that. He used to do that. He used to spend a few months in Hajj every year. He would go early, 3 to 4 months, and he would spend that time making Hajj, guiding the Muslims, helping them, giving them all kinds of things. And then he would spend few months back in his own town, in his own place, where he would do halaqat, tadris, teach, and spend time in his own place. And this is where he used to do business also. 4 months, 3 months of business, 3 months of home time, 3 months of jihad time, and 3 months of Hajj time. Can you believe it? He divided his year in 4 portions. Allahu Akbar. So he used to have a Yahudi neighbor, a Jew. What? Jewish neighbor. He was gone traveling. When he came back, he found out that the Jew is selling the house. Now guess what? The Jew is selling the house. Let's say you came to buy from the Jew, and Jew tells you this house is 100,000 dinar or dirham. The man said, no, this is too much price. This is not the right price. Market price is $50,000 and you are charging me 100,000. I'm not going to buy it. He said, I tell you, this house is worth not 100,000, double the money. Even if I ask you for 200,000, this house will be still more than that. How could that be? He said, tell me why this house is so special. Why should I pay you 100,000 instead of 50,000 market price? You're asking me double. He said, because I have a neighbor whose name is Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Whose name is? Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Abdullah came back in town and he heard that his Jewish neighbor, his Yahudi, his neighbor is suffering. He has a financial problem, financial crisis, and he wants to sell his house. Wallahi, we Muslims have a problem. When we know some brother has a debt, a qard on him, and he wants to sell his house or his car, and his car is $10,000, we say, brother, give me for 2,000. A'udhu billah. Wailul lil mutaffifin. Haram ya ikhwan. We should not take advantage of people. So when he found out that the Jew is in trouble, Ibn Mubarak visits him, knocks his door, and he said, Wallahi, I heard you're in trouble. He didn't have food to eat in his house. He said, if you left this town with no food, no money, and you broke, what answer I will give to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because Rasulullah told us that whoever does not take care of his neighbor is not one of us. Whoever's neighbor is harmed by him, he's not one of us. Think about it. Which means that not only to non-Muslims, even Muslim neighbors we should be nice to. That's first priority. But right now I'm talking about non-Muslims. Imagine if this is the case with a Jew or a Jewish man, what is the case of Muslims? Higher or lower? Not lower, please, no. So, are you Muslim? Okay, you don't matter. Get out of it. No. Muslim, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. So Mu'min is way up there. So imagine this is the case of a Yahudi. So Abdullah went to his house crying. He says, please take this money and use it for as long as you want. Don't sell your house. Subhanallah. He said, Abdullah, that's why I put a very high price on my house. That where would I find a neighbor like you? Subhanallah. Now I'll give you another example, back to future, meaning now. One of our uncles in our community, he lives in Kalamazoo since 1976. For how long? 1976. He has a neighbor. By the way, we define neighbor in Islam by how many homes next to you? 7. Huh? Some say 7, actually 4. Right, left, front, back. This is immediate neighbor, and then you have extended neighbors. Immediate is 4, minimum, that he should not sleep hungry. This neighbor of him, Muslim brother, his neighbor is a non-Muslim, lives in Portage. I'm not going to mention his name because this is being recorded for privacy reasons. He said, my neighbor was leaving. He was either a Christian or a Jewish. He just told me this 2 days ago. He said, my neighbor was leaving town, and he said, my wife and I, we cannot take our daughters with us. We cannot take our daughters with us. 2 of them. One is 12, the other is 14. Please, can you take them in your home and keep them until we come back? Allahu Akbar. He is trusting the Muslim with his own children, who is probably a Jew. A Jewish man. Trusting a Muslim with his own children. Think about it. Why I'm giving the example of Yahud? Because we got a lot of problem with them, right? We have problems, no doubt. I mean, look at them, what they do to our brothers in Israel, so-called Israel, right? Occupation. Well, that's a problem over there. The Jew that lives here, I don't have a problem with him right now, correct? He is just like you and me, another human being. Just like if someone, terrorist, attacks people in Europe, like what just happened, because of them, if they treat bad to you, don't you say that, what do I have to do with that, right?